Giants fans, thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Only a Giant. A lot to talk about tonight. We'll kind of jump right into that preseason loss against the Patriots. And then, kind of overall thoughts on the preseason and what we're looking to accomplish and what the goal is going forward. And then we'll get into a little bit of a roster prediction here to see, who makes the final 53 and go from there. So we'll kind of just jump right in. I don't really want to delay too much. We'll just kind of get right into it. So obviously the third and final preseason game was a loss against the Patriots at home. It was a 20-22 loss for the Giants. There was some good, there was some bad. Overall, biggest thing I try to take out of this, guys, is it's preseason. Yes, you hope to have a little bit more success, show a little bit better of an offensive line in this game. The drops, those are kind of something that you really don't want to see. And same thing with, the interception there with Jones, although we'll kind of get into that in a moment as well. To start offensively, there was some life. There was some good plays that were kind of mixed in with some bad, but, it's tough because, that drop by Slayton kind of was huge. And then the missed read by Jones to hit the halfback for a little check down that would have probably been a pretty good gainer. So there were some miscues on that, but the running game I thought was decent for the most part, although Devontae Booker, I didn't love what I saw to him. I like how Corey Clement runs. He runs hard. Seems like he can catch the ball a little bit too, I believe. He's someone that I think will make this team and will contribute quite a bit. I think that we're going to have a much better running attack this year, and that'll be something that'll certainly help moving forward. Now, some of the other positives, we'll just kind of jump right over to Daniel Jones. I mean, for the most part, I thought he looked really good. I think he was 17 for 22, 135 yards or somewhere around there. But it seemed like he was getting the ball out with conviction for the most part, making some pretty good reads and delivering some pretty catchable balls and accurate balls for the most part. Now, yes, the interception, you don't want that. That's something, especially in the red zone, that's killer. But guys, this is preseason. This is his first look this year. Like it or not, a lot of people are complaining that, he didn't get any other reps. Yeah, sure, you'd like to see him a little bit more. But it is what it is. We're not the coach. Judge, this is, what he thinks is best for the team currently. And it is a little bit of a longer season this year, with that extra game. And it is what it is. Really, Judge has some different philosophies on things. And this is the way that he's running the team right now and what he wants to accomplish. He probably wanted to honestly get a really good look at his backup quarterback to see, really if Glennon is what we need in case it comes to it. But overall, I thought Jones played pretty good. Had he not thrown that interception, I think everyone would have been talking about how good he looked despite the pressure and despite, everything else. He was sacked a couple times and he hung onto the ball. So really a lot of good came out of it for Jones. You just wish he was a little bit more decisive in the decision making, kind of get the ball out a little bit quicker, I think still. And then the interception, whether it was something that Evan Ingram, he thought he was going to sit. And, looking at the play, you kind of almost think that would be the case. But Jones isn't going to throw, his tight end under the bus, and he's just going to take it and, go with it. We got to get better there. Turnovers are something that's really going to hinge on the season, whether we do good or not. I do think, that we'll be better than we were last year. I think getting our weapons back certainly going to help. And that's one of the big things too. I mean, no Tony, no Kenny Galladay, no Saquon, no Rudolph. I mean, there's so many players out right now that it's just not completely fair to judge too much right now. Now, offensive line, yeah, it wasn't pretty. Andrew Thomas looked pretty bad. And, after actually watching it a little bit more, I thought Nate Solder really did look great. Pert looked okay up and down. And then, Will Hernandez has been playing great. Nick Gates seemed fine. The other guard spot, I thought Larson looked good, but not really sure what's going to happen there. And Larson had his bumps too. I guess maybe good isn't the right word for it. He played okay at best. He's someone that I could see filling in if needed. If it comes to it, and Lemieux's out for a longer time, or doesn't come back or something. I could see Larson stepping in, although I haven't heard anything about the injury yet, so that could be something that plays into it. It's a mixed bag. Mostly a lot of bad, some bright spots, but guys, Andrew Thomas has looked pretty good for most of the preseason. He's been looking like he's been playing pretty good in practice. Yes, it was a bad game. Pros have bad games. It happens, he'll adjust. The coaches will, get with him, and he admitted as such in his press conference after the game. He dove right into what he thought his mistakes were and how he's going to correct it. And this guy's a pro. This isn't Eric Flowers that I keep hearing people compare him to. This guy's so much better than anything that Flowers ever was. And, he's going to come out and he's going to work hard and he's going to get better. These reps that he's getting right now in training camp and in practice, in the joint practices and in preseason, those are some good reps for him because he's learning, And one of the things with, I think it was Uche, who just kept beating him over and over again. It seemed like he's one of the quicker linebackers in the league, or whatever his position is, edge rusher. That might be something maybe he struggles with a little bit more, and maybe we need a game plan against that, and make sure that we have someone to chip or something like that. Not a strong suit of Evan Ingram's, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean. He'll learn, he'll get better. I'm not overly concerned. I'm not a doom and gloom guy here. I'm not thinking, oh my God, the season's over. I'm also not going to try to sit here and say that it's not concerning, because it is concerning. But if this is week 3 and these issues have been happening the whole time and it's still happening, then I'm going to be a little more concerned. But it's a long season, guys. Remember we finished last year 5-2. Obviously, the start of the season wasn't great. So, if the season doesn't start off how we think it should, relax, Aaron Rodgers, relax. And you know what? For that sake, too, quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers make mistakes, too. So give Daniel Jones a little bit of a slack, too, with that interception. People throw interceptions. Quarterbacks throw interceptions. Quarterbacks have plays that were almost picked off all the time. It happens, guys. It happens. It's the NFL. Get over it. What's next? I guess we'll go right over to Evan Ingram. And, man, this guy is just frustrating. He's a great weapon. He really is, for an offense that is willing to use him as a weapon. And it just almost seems like we're really trying to jam him into the prototypical tight end position when, man, he's just not that. I mean, go back to that goal line play where, he's trying to block someone coming off the edge, and man, he just gets run over. Yeah, it's a bigger defensive end or something like that, bigger linebacker. I believe it was a defensive end. And you can't really expect him to hold up completely against someone like that, but put some effort in, dude. It didn't even look like he really tried that much. It looked like he kind of just stood up a little bit and just got blown back. And then I think that may have been the drive that ended up with a pick after that, right after that. I could be wrong on that, but for those who didn't see it, man, it was a running play right at the goal line, and Evan Ingram they had him in line blocking, and it was ugly. So, with him, obviously you don't want him to be out for any length of time with that injury. But I wish him success. I want him to be successful. I want him to be a good player for the Giants. And maybe the plan this year is to use, Caden Smith and Kyle Rudolph in that more prototypical tight end position and run 2 tight end sets and have Ingram motion out or whatever. he's just not a tight end. He's not your prototypical tight end who's gonna, bang it inside and then make some plays outside. I think we need to get back to that prototypical tight end. If we can do that with Kyle Rudolph and with Caden Smith and still use Evan Ingram, I'd love it. But I'm just starting to think that this offense isn't equipped for that position. Whether that's Jason Garrett just doesn't know how to use him, or Jason Garrett's trying to pound him into the prototypical tight end role. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there. Looking back at the draft, would you almost have preferred someone like David Njoku, or me personally, I preferred OJ Howard in that draft. If we were going tight end, obviously he went a little bit before the Giants, and obviously he's really not doing much, but he's also been marred with some injuries. I wouldn't be shocked if Ingram is out for any length of time, if that's a position that we try to, find a waiver wire guy, like that tight end from the Tampa Bay Bucks that just got released, who led their whole I can't think of his name, Hudson or something like that. But there's going to be some tight ends out there that we can, try to poach and bring onto this team. I don't think after Caden Smith, we really have a reliable third or fourth tight end, I guess, whatever ends up happening with Ingram. So I think that could be a position where we need someone. We haven't heard exactly the extent of the injury for Evan Ingram. I get the feeling he's going to be out for a little bit, but that could just be me guessing. It is me guessing, really. Just his reaction and kind of the way, no one's really talking too much yet. Yes, I know he's still undergoing testing, and that's pretty much what's been said. But I don't know. Just seems a little like hush-hush for the moment. We'll see what happens. I bet you tomorrow we'll hear something. Other than that, the defense looked great. I would have loved to see maybe just a little bit more pressure, but it looked like we had some blitzes mixed in, some pressure off the edge, pressure up the middle with Blake, plus Blake making that amazing interception. Those are plays you can get excited about, and hopefully this year we'll see a little bit more attacking. Our preseason so far has kind of looked a little similar to last year in the sense of like that bend don't break. But there's been some good things definitely, and obviously we're still missing some players, and obviously we're not scheming. We're not scheming for teams. So I think week one we'll see some good schemes drawn up to really try to take advantage of kind of another lackluster offense, I would say. I'm kind of picturing Denver in the same shoes as the Giants, except for we have the superior weapons. But they don't scare me offensively. Their defense scares me, sure. Von Miller and Bradley Chubb and those guys all worry me a little bit. But I think we'll be all right. That's another a story for another day, though. I do wish I saw a little bit more pressure. It just seemed like Cam and Mac Jones had a lot of time to throw, a lot of time to sit in the pocket, and it was like Jones was getting hit on like a one-step drop some of the times. So that was a little concerning, I would say. But a little bit more pressure would have been nice to see. Mac Jones looks legit. He looks like a good quarterback. No, I guess we'll temper that a little bit with the fact that Daniel Jones' rookie season, he was amazing in the preseason. So don't read into it too much, I guess is all I'm saying. I really fully expect Cam to be the starter, but he might be on a short leash. He might be someone that, if they're 1-3 or 2-2 and they think they should be winning more games, then they might pull the plug on him quick. I think Mac has the accuracy that Cam doesn't have, and Mac can also probably run a more of a prototypical offense where Cam, you kind of got to game plan a little bit for his style of being a quarterback. Cheers, everyone. It was, a quick drink here. I'm not doing the beer of the episode, although I'll tell you what I'm drinking. Clown Shoes. Space Cake Double India Pale Ale. It's all right. Honestly, I was pretty excited about it, but not overly impressed. I'll be honest. So it's all right. All right. Well, so overall, after that preseason game, guys, It's preseason. It's a lot of the first units on offense, first snaps of the year. Whether you agree or disagree with that, it is what it is. It's, what the coaching staff has chosen to do. It's what Judge has chosen to do. I trust Judge. And, if we have another crap year, then maybe that changes. But for the moment, I'm going to trust his take on, what he wants to accomplish offensively. Keeping Jones healthy and maybe getting a little bit of a closer look at Glennon to really see what we have there as a backup quarterback in case Jones gets hurt. Other than that, offensive line wise, I know everyone's kind of banging the drums and getting mad that we still didn't address it because our offensive line looks so bad. Guys, don't get mad at Dave Gettleman for this. This is once again a situation where, yeah, maybe Gettleman liked Tony, but Judge has a lot of input in that, and he very likely had a big say in us drafting Kadarius Toney and riding with the offensive line that we have, and thinking someone like Ted Larson can come in at some point and play, or Kenny Wiggins, or a lot of these other guys. So don't blame Gettleman, I guess is really all I'm going to say for that. Gettleman is not perfect, and I'm not sitting here, being a Gettleman truther. But Judge, I think Judge really does have a lot of say in what we do. And Gettleman has said that in the past, that he works with the coaches. If the coach says they want someone, he's very liable to try to go out there and get them. And, if Gettleman wanted an offensive lineman and maybe Judge was like, hey, Tony, I really like this kid. I think he can be something special. He may have talked him out of taking a lineman, at pick 11 or wherever we were at that point. So overall, guys, it's preseason. Let's let the guys play. Let's let the coaches coach. Let's coach up Andrew Thomas. Let's get the offensive line moving a little bit. Let's get some short passes to Saquon. Hopefully he'll be back week 1. I really firmly believe he will be. What I'd like to see is Saquon in on some first downs. I'd like to see Clement get 10 carries a game. And, Saquon get some, Devontae Booker in here and there when needed. I honestly, I like Corey Clement a lot more than I like Booker right now. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, let's go. I don't feel as confident about my, winning season, and 10 and 7 or 11 and 6, whatever I had us projected at. But I still think a winning season is very doable, and it should happen. Honestly, 9 and 8, 10 and 7, somewhere around there. I really firmly believe that we can do. Let's do it. So next, guys, we'll kind of get into a little bit of the trade that just happened today. Billy Price coming over from Cincinnati Bengals. And I'll never try to sit here and say I'm as knowledgeable as a lot of other people when it comes to, offensive linemen and evaluating offensive linemen. But I'll tell you what, I really like this guy coming out of Ohio State in, what year was that? 2018, 2019, wherever it was, somewhere around there. He's a talented dude. You don't get drafted in the NFL in the first round without being talented. Now, that being said, there are some issues there. He's been injured a lot. Injuries have definitely plagued him. His pass protection hasn't been great. But also, kind of talking to some friends that are Bengals fans, it really kind of sounds like a kind of a combo of a couple different things. Sounds like scheme fit just not really working for him, and what the Bengals want to do. Now, what that means exactly, I'm not sure. I don't know necessarily what their scheme was. And then, injuries definitely, reared their head, and maybe just a little bit of bad play mixing in there. But this dude is strong. And if we're going to try to run the ball, I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to be a starter, but he's definitely going to be depth. And if he's in the game at all, he's going to be a grader. He's going to be someone that you can throw in either at center and kick Gates out, or throw in at left guard, whatever we need. But I think a change of scenery is going to be the biggest thing for him. A fresh start, he's still got the talent. The Bengals didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So I guess what that means basically is this is really a, see what we have. See if there's anything here. a little bit of depth that might be better than some of the players that we have currently. And if it doesn't work, okay. We gave up BJ Hill, and BJ Hill was someone that I wasn't sure was going to make the team anyway, just because we have a lot of talent there. I've heard some rumblings that maybe we gave up a 7th with it as well. And if we did, who cares, guys? Who cares? Yes, I mean, those picks, you want to use those picks. You want to develop players. But year 3, next year, with Judge's system and Judge's roster building, those 6th, 7th picks, 6th, 7th round picks aren't going to have as much of an impact because his guys are already going to be there. And that doesn't mean that someone can't come in and surprise and play great and things can happen. But even looking like Brightwell this year, I don't know that he's going to make the team. So as we're building this roster, those picks are I guess maybe not important isn't the right word, but they're going to be more of a long shot to make the roster as Judge keeps building his team the way that he wants it to be. So I think it's worth, even if they did include that 7th, I think it's worth to explore this Billy Price idea and see what we have. It sounds like he's a better center than he is guard, but I don't know that you really want to move. I don't know that you really want to move Gates around too much. I mean, if you want to kick Gates out to left guard and put Billy Price in at center, I'm fine with trying it. I'm not the coach. I don't know, what they're looking for, but temper expectations a little bit, but also give the guy a chance. Everyone's murdering Gettleman right now for trading for this horrible lineman. Guys, he's getting depth. It's depth. I'm sure they're not expecting him to come in and start unless something's happened with Lemieux and he's still out, or Ted Larson's hurt and they don't want to keep Wiggins. So I like the move. I like the kick the tire methodology here with a player that just needs a fresh start. He's still young, needs to get out of Cincy and see what he can do. Come into a new system here with new coaches and see what we have. And if he doesn't make it, then he walks next year, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all, guys. All right. Well, preseason as a whole wasn't pretty, but I think they accomplished a lot of good things. It's making this team better, and we didn't have that last year. So, I certainly think it'll be something that helps people that are looking at last year, how he finished, and wondering what's going on this year. Guys, it's still a new team. This is a very different team than it was last year. So it's still going to take some time to gel. Still going to take some time to get the kinks out and get used to everything and progress. So relax a little bit. Relax. Well, so here we are. I guess now we'll kind of get right into roster predictions. 53-man roster. It was tough. It was tough to really, make the cuts that I think they're going to make, and it's kind of going to be a combo of some guys I really hope they keep, and maybe they won't, but let's just jump right in. I mean, quarterback, that's really a position that everyone kind of knows. Daniel Jones, QB1, Mike Glennon, QB2. This Lewarke guy here, I think he'll end up on the practice squad. I think for the times that he played, I actually didn't mind him. I thought he showed some moxie, he showed some toughness. Someone that, practice squad can certainly help. And, if we ever really were in a pinch and he could come in and be the QB2 if Jones gets hurt or if Glennon gets hurt or whatever. But he's practice squad. And I think for the year, you're probably pretty set at that position at quarterback. Running back, obviously Saquon, Devontae Booker, Corey Clement. Then I threw Elijah Penny in there with that too. I don't think they keep Cullen Gillespie or whatever his name is. He does have some good things going on as far as special teams go, but I think Elijah Penny really separated himself this week with showing that he can run the ball. We knew that about him. We knew he could run. We knew he could catch, but we haven't really seen it much. And throw in the fact that he's a big special teamer, I think he has that spot on lockdown. So that means that, Sandro Platzgummer's gone, and Gary Brightwell, I do think he's someone that will end up on the practice squad. I don't love the pick. The more like that we're getting into the season of Gary Brightwell, but that's a story for another day, I guess. But there's a lot of other places we probably could have went with that position, especially with getting guys like Corey Clement off the street, and Booker too. Booker, someone that I feel like the Giants must have faith in. But yeah, I think end of the day, Brightwell does not make the team. We only carry 4 running backs or 3 running backs and a fullback. Tight end, Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph, Caden Smith. I don't think Houseman or Nakia Griffin-Stewart make the team. If Evan Ingram's out for any length of time, though, that's going to be certainly a position that they look to upgrade, or maybe not upgrade, but find another body. I don't think Houseman or Griffin-Stewart are long for this team. Maybe one of those make it on the practice squad, but I do think they look to upgrade that position behind Caden Smith. Wide receivers were tough. I had Galladay, obviously, Shep, Tony, Slayton. Once again, though, we'll see what happened with the injury with him. I wonder if he, just with how deep we are, I wonder if he ends up being any type of trade bait to go after some other players or anything like that. I have John Ross making it. I have Pettis making it. I have Matt Cole making it. And I have Sills making it. Yeah, probably. It's so tough because I feel like Matt Cole, Sills, and CJ Board, like one of those guys will probably make it. 2's more like what I think will happen. But 1 seems more realistic, but for the moment, I have it set up this way. So I have CJ Board not making it. I have Bachman not making it. Austin Max not making it. And then Damian Willis is not making it. Although he is someone that, if we could stash him on practice squad, I don't know if that's a player that we can do that with. I feel like he just seems to come up big. He seems to make plays. He seems to do a lot of good things. He's good at pushing off. He's someone that I wouldn't mind keeping around, but I don't think he's worth a roster spot. Matt Cole, I don't know if he even played last night, actually. Maybe he played on specials and I just didn't notice it. But he's someone that seems to be, pretty good on specials, seems to play a little bit of wide receiver, play a little bit of corner. Seems like he's a guy that is willing to do whatever the coaches want him to do. And coaches love that. Judge loves that. So I think he makes the team. I think John Ross ultimately does still make this team. I think they've liked what they've seen with him. Kind of the same thing, with Galladay and Tony. Just get him healthy for week 1 and let's go. Pettis brings a lot of other tools to the offense that I think he can help. And he seems to be almost like a little bit of a wily veteran, even though he's not very old. He seems to just be in the right place at the right time. Seems to be making catches. And that's something that Slayton just hasn't been doing. There's been a lot of drops for Slayton. We'll see what happens there. It's tough. I believe I have 16 or 17 right there. I'll double check that. I know I have the numbers right, though, because I already did it. So we'll move right on here. Next, we'll get into offensive linemen. I really want to keep Jackson Barton. I don't see it happening. But he's a player that I hope would make it on the practice squad and can be called up if needed. But I got Andrew Thomas, Nate Solder, Matt Pert, all making it, obviously. And then interior guys, Billy Price, obviously he's going to make it. They just traded for him. Nick Gates, Jonathan Harris, Will Hernandez, Shane Lemieux. And then, that last spot to me is between Ted Larson and Kenny Wiggins. And I think Ted Larson is in the driver's seat of that, but health will dictate that as well. If Ted Larson came out okay and he's good to go, I think he has that spot. If not, maybe Kenny Wiggins comes in. I don't know for sure. But that also means Chad Slade, gone. Jake Burton, Brett Heggie, who I like a lot. But, I just, especially with the Billy Price signing, I think he's probably a practice squad guy at this point. And then obviously we'll have Casey Kreider as a long snapper. And Graham Gano and Riley Dixon for your special teamers. And then we'll get into defense. Defensive line, I think the biggest winner of the BJ Hill trade is Raymond Johnson. I think he has a really good chance of making this team now. I'd like to see David Moa make it. It's tough, though. I think he's someone that could end up on practice squad and maybe, gets protected and maybe gets called up here and there depending on injuries. But you have Raymond Johnson, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Austin Johnson, Danny Shelton. No real surprises there. Willie Henry played pretty well for us, actually. Elijah Qualls, gone. David Moa, gone. Some other guys that are likely gone, too, is Nikos Lelos and Ifeadi Odenigbo. He just hasn't shown anything, really, at all. Had you talked to us, or, if you listened to this podcast, I was pretty high on him. I was really excited about that signing, thinking that he would be someone that would come in and really contribute. And it's been non-existent in preseason. I don't know, maybe that's, they just have him working on certain things and then, come week one, he's going to be very active and doing more of what they want him to do. I don't know. I haven't liked anything I've seen, though. I kind of have a feeling that he might be someone that might be gone. Also, Trent Harris, Devontae Downs, Ryan Anderson. See ya. Ryan Anderson, I know he's suspended for 6 games. I don't know exactly how that works. I think they might have to have him on the final roster in order to place him on the exempt list or whatever for those 6 games to carry over. I could be wrong on that, though. Maybe he's just going to be suspended and won't count. Yeah, actually, now I'm thinking about it, I think that might be how it works. He's just not going to count, and then when he becomes active, they can choose to sign him to the 53 or release him. So that means for the linebackers, Edge, Lorenzo Carter, Aziz, Cam Brown, O'Shane, inside, Carter Coughlin / outside, Tay Crowder, Blake, Reggie Ragland. Maybe I already said this, Cam Brown, who's someone that I think, if it wasn't for his special teams contributions, he would not be on this team. Ellerson Smith as well is someone that, I think makes this team. But if he's not back practicing soon, maybe he's someone that they throw on the IR for the year and just let him practice for a year and get better. I don't know, though. We'll see. DBs, McKinney, Logan Ryan, Adoree', Rodarius Williams, Darnay, Jabril, McKinney, Julian Love. I mean, pretty much standard stuff there. I do have Aaron Robinson making it, although that's going to be another one where he might have to make the team and then be put on the IR to come back. I'm not really sure there, and I think his spot could be kind of dependent on Keon Cross and what happens there. And then same with Josh Jackson. I know we traded for him, and I was hoping to kind of get a look at him this week. Obviously, he got injured. I just don't know how you keep a guy like that with not being able to see him over someone like Aaron Robinson or Keon Crossan or whatever. So that means, Madre Harper by Jordan Peters. See you. All the standards. And that's the 53-man roster. Nothing too crazy. I think the wide receiver position is probably something where I might be a little off. CJ Board, I feel like he probably makes a team, but I feel like CJ Board is someone that can be stashed on the practice squad. I think Sills is a wide receiver, man. He makes plays. And I would love to give him the chance. Maybe if you're choosing between Sills and Pettis, I'd go Sills, because we've already kind of seen Pettis. Sills has been hurt a little bit and really hasn't had a chance yet. Give that man a chance. See what happens. So, guys, that's basically it for the moment. Thanks for being patient. I know I have not been as consistent about getting episodes out lately. Work has been crazy. Here on out, though, one a week at least. I'd like to do 2. I just don't know that I can commit to that. But I at least will do a preview next week for week 1 once we have all the cuts and kind of we can talk about it. We can see how wrong I was with my 53-man prediction, and we'll go from there. at least once a week with a preview and probably a review of the game before. I'd love to do like a Monday and a Thursday or something like that. We'll see how work goes and if that's something I can maintain. But I will try to be a little bit more consistent, guys, especially now that the season's being here. At least once a week is an obvious, and if it only does come to once a week, then we'll do a review and then a preview. And, the times that I'm by myself here, the episodes tend to go a little bit quicker. We're 35 minutes in right now. And really, that's all we got. When I have someone here talking with me, episodes tend to last a little bit longer. So I think we'll make it work. Guys, the biggest thing here, football's back. Got a week off here. Preseason's done. It's always the gruel trying to get through preseason. It sucks that we kind of have that a little bit of, the time off here in between, and we have, another Sunday without any football. That sucks. But really, it's a good thing. It comes with a good time for the Giants to get a little bit healthier, get their weapons back. Hopefully we get Saquon into some practices here, and let's make it happen. Let's get Saquon some carries week 1. Yeah, I think you kind of got to be a little bit careful with him. 5 carries, 10 carries at most, with a couple targets, and lean on Clement, lean on Booker. Although I'd like to lean on Clement more if he can not fumble the ball, of course. And as far as Daniel Jones, if we can get that run game going, then we can do some play action, some bootlegs, get him rolling out of the pocket a little bit. I just hope that we don't have the same crap as last year with Garrett. And I've heard some people mentioning that a little bit with preseason. But guys, I mean, the roster that we had for that week 3 preseason game was basically the same offense as we had last year, is what it felt like to me. No Saquon that game, no Tony, no Galladay. I mean, a lot of guys missing. So it's going to be very different come week 1. And hopefully we can, get some quick balls out, get some quick hitters, go deep a little bit, because that's what Jones does good, and make it happen. So that's it, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. Let's freaking go.